Maurice Merleau-Ponty was born on March 14, 1908, in Rochefort, France. Raised in a middle-class family, he excelled in his studies and attended the prestigious Lycée Louis-le-Grand in Paris. He then went on to study at the École Normale Supérieure, where he became a student of both philosophy and psychology. Influenced by his professors, notably Leon Brunschwig and later Edmond Husserl, Merleau-Ponty became one of the central figures of 20th century phenomenology. His seminal work, Phenomenology of Perception, published in 1945, challenged the Cartesian split between mind and body. In it, he argued that perception is not a passive reception of data, but an active, embodied engagement with the world. His other major works include The Structure of Intuition and Sense and Nonsense 48. Academically, he held an notable professorship at the Collège de France, where he was a powerful force in shaping contemporary philosophy. His upbringing and exposure to both classical French philosophy and modern psychology allowed him to bridge gaps between abstract thought and lived experience. Merleau-Ponty's legacy endures in phenomenology, existentialism, and cognitive science. His insistence on the embodied nature of perception opened new avenues for exploring how we make sense of ourselves in the world. Phenomenology of Perception. Maurice Merleau-Ponty's Phenomenology of Perception, first published in 1945, stands as a landmark in 20th century philosophy. Unlike purely abstract epistemological inquiries, Merleau-Ponty's work reoriented phenomenology toward the embodied, lived experience of perception. Drawing from his studies in both philosophy and psychology, Merleau-Ponty disrupts the dualism that had dominated Western thought, particularly the mind-body split inherited from Descartes. The book is structured in a way that methodically dismantles the traditional separation between subject and object. For Merleau-Ponty, perception is not a passive reception of sensory data. It is an active, intentional engagement. He insists that our primary way of being in the world is through embodied perception. In his view, the body is not merely a vehicle for the mind. It is the medium through which we encounter reality. Thus, he takes perception as a starting point, examining how the senses, vision, touch, hearing, mediate our sense of self and the world around us. One of the book's central concepts is the lived body, le corps propre. Merleau-Ponty argues that the body is not an object in the world like a stone. It is the very means by which we inhabit the world. Our gestures, our movements, and even our intentions are inseparable from our bodily being. This was a revolutionary claim because it countered the prevalent rationalist and dualist paradigms that place the mind above the body. Instead, he argued that the body is the first site of knowing. Merleau-Ponty's Phenomenology of Perception also draws heavily on the concept of intentionality. Borrowed from Husserl, intentionality refers to how consciousness is always directed toward something. It is always about something. Merleau-Ponty extends this idea, arguing that we never perceive a detached world. We perceive it as meaningful precisely because our body is engaged in it. This leads him to critique the objectivist approach of natural science when applied to human experience. While natural science explains the world in terms of objects and causal laws, Merleau-Ponty insists that human experience is always more than the sum of its parts. Thus, the meaning we experience is always embodied, always contextual. Another crucial concept is the intertwining, which he later elaborates on in other works. For Merleau-Ponty, subject and object do not stand opposed, instead they are woven together. Our perception is a dynamic interplay between self and world, never static or purely subjective. In this way, Merleau-Ponty opens up a more fluid, non-reductive way of thinking about human consciousness. The impact of Phenomenology of Perception has been profound. It became a foundational text not only in philosophy, but also in psychology, aesthetics, and cognitive science. His emphasis on embodied experience paved the way for later phenomenologists, such as Jean-Luc Braillon, and later existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre. Moreover, his insights have influenced contemporary debates in cognitive science, especially in areas like embodied cognition, where thinkers argue that our mental processes are kind of grounded in bodily interaction with the world.
In sum, Phenomenology of Perception is not only a cornerstone of Merleau-Ponty's work, but also a touchstone for an entire lineage of thought.